All right. Appreciate y'all being here today. Been a kind of a whirlwind 6, 7 days. When you get into a week and it's kind of a bye week, but it's also you got a Wednesday night game coming up, and so you have to kind of say, okay, part of it's going to be a bye week, and then part of it's going to be getting ready for your game. Then you end up getting that canceled, and then you go into a total bye week, and then the very next day you end up with a game, and so it's been kind of a whirlwind. Hats off to our guys and our coaching staff, man. They've really done a good job of really locking into something that's very abnormal, something that is not usually happening during a football season. But the guys have done really, really good job. They've gotten out there, went to work, and getting themselves prepared. And very excited for Eagle Nation and for our guys and for everybody with the football program, for us to be able to have a game in Paulson this weekend. And, we're encouraging as many people that can come. I know that capacity is limited, but, man, if we can get everybody in the seats that are allowed to, we'd love to have them, and just looking forward to playing another home game.
Coach, you've been able to celebrate a couple of birthdays in your family this week, but I'm sure you're excited about being able to play Saturday. How important is it for you to be able to have this game and not have another bye week?
I think this year especially, what you don't want to do is get out of rhythm. I think having 3 weeks off would have been, between games, would have been something that would not have been good for us. I mean, obviously we would have handled it and we would have done fine, but I think being able to get on the field and play a game and not have to wait 3 weeks in between games is very important. And, the great thing about not having to play the Wednesday night game, there was a couple birthdays in my family, and we got to enjoy that. And but we had to work too, because we know we got one coming up. So just excited we're going to get a chance to play.
Coach, UMass is going to be a hungry team opening their season. What are going to be the keys in this game for your team to focus on to make sure you take care of the ball and finish this game?
Well, we've had a lot of talks about our previous 3 games. All 3 games have come down to the last play of the game, and 2 of them we were able to come out on top, and 1 of them we did not. I think that our identity is something that we've got to really, really focus in on. There's no doubt in my mind we're blue collar. We're going to go to work. We're going to go to work every day, and we're going to go to work in a game. There's no doubt in my mind that we're tough. We're going to fight to the end. We're going to be physically and mentally tough. I think the big piece right now is honing in on our discipline. These last 3 games that we've played, we've been maybe undisciplined at the wrong times during the game. And, I think our guys have really taken that to heart and taken that as a challenge. I know our coaches have. And so I think it's going to really come down to the discipline and going out there and trying to play our best game of the year. And always our plan to win. But that discipline piece is going to be huge for us this week.
Coach, in previous years when we do interviews with players after games, they say stuff like Georgia Southern's built for this, we're built for this. And that was when talking about gameplay. Raymond just said that he thinks this team is built for handling the up and downs of 2020 rescheduling. Can you peel back the curtain a little bit and tell us what that means from a off the field standpoint, where they're able to kind of weather this storm week in and week out, where you don't know who you're going to prepare for? One week you think it's hate week, the next week you're preparing for UMass. Can you peel back that curtain and let us know what we're built for this means when it translates to this season in general?
Well, if I listen to those comments, the thing that really pops into my mind is it's about us, and it always has been. Something that and again, I don't know how to compare UMass to us, but in 2017, this senior class was 2-10, and they dealt with a lot of adversity that we didn't overcome that year, and then we were able to flip it, and to have a really good year in 18. Not up to standards kind of year in 2019, but we did deal with a lot of adversity in 2019 that was probably abnormal, and so our guys, I mean, they're just really resilient, and I think the big piece to that is because of the things that they've had to deal with in the past and the things that they've had to deal with now, getting sent home early in the spring, for the pandemic, and then coming back and, trying to piece that together and how that's going to look and how we can keep them safe and how we can keep them healthy, and them get to play the game that they love and be a part of the university that they love and the team that they love. That's a lot of different things that kind of go on with your team. So I think this senior class, when you hear Raymond say something like that, I just think that all the things that they've kind of gone through, and and now what this looks like as a college football season with a pandemic, they don't blink. They see it as the obstacle, but knowing that the obstacle is the way and the adversity is the way. It's not, well, let's try to go around it. No, let's go right through it and let's find a way to go be successful. So I think that's what he means when he's talking about built for this.
How
Coach,
involved
there's
are
some-
you in the planning for getting that UMass team in here and you're talking to Jared and Chris and getting this game scheduled?
It was really interesting. It was probably about 30 minutes before the team meeting last Thursday. Well, I'd say this, it was probably about an hour and a half before the team meeting. I got the call and Jared said, hey, this is a possibility. Would you be interested? And we kind of talked through the different scenarios and why it would be good, what are the positives, what are the negatives when it comes to this. And then, about 30 minutes before the team meeting, it really got serious at that point, because then it was like, hey, they're offering to do this, and, I'm going to get, Jared was adamant about, talking to the president, make sure he was on the same page with what we were thinking. And there was a lot of communication going on before that team meeting. So what was really interesting is you go into that team meeting, and we had then switched up the schedule probably about 2 or 3 times on our players between 2 days. And, and again, it was about, hey, look, guys, I'm just letting you know, man, there's an opportunity that we may end up playing the following Saturday. So we got to be ready to adjust. So it was kind of, I told the team yesterday, we're treating this like a sudden change. You talk about sudden changes in football all the time. If the offense turns the ball over, what the defense has to go out and do. If the defense gets a takeaway, what the offense needs to go out and do. So we're going to treat this like a sudden change, man. This was not planned. But the communication's been great with Jared and Chris. They did an awesome job of talking to me about what the options were, asking my opinion on it. And, obviously we wanted to do what was best for Georgia Southern and for our football program. So it was real interesting. But you know what, man, you just got to be grateful and got to be ready to enjoy every moment that you get this year, because you never know. Because when you start talking to your guys about, we played 3 games, but we've had 3 either postponed or canceled. So nothing's guaranteed this year. And so for us to get this game, I think was really important, because that's another one that we'll be able to get.
One of the things Raymond mentioned was how UMass has really nothing to lose. This is the only game on their schedule so far. And he anticipates, just expect the unexpected. Maybe they'll do something different on 3rd down or 4th down that would be against the norm. If you're the offensive coordinator and if you're the defensive coordinator for UMass, what kind of wacky plays or what kind of off the beaten path plays might you throw at Georgia Southern?
Well, I think that we got to be ready for trick plays. We obviously got to be ready for maybe a defense they didn't show last year. Maybe they'll mix up their defenses and then, maybe trickery on special teams. I mean, try to steal a possession. I look at it like this. Until they schedule another game, this is the only game for them. And their players, their coaches are probably looking at it the exact same way, the same way we are of nothing's guaranteed. And they now have an opportunity. They put a lot of hard work. What was interesting, I've never really talked to a head coach of the opponent, before the game, or as far as on the phone or something like that. But actually, Coach Bell had called me when we were talking about playing this game, and we were just talking through the different things. And I just think it's really cool for them. And I know what he said about his players, of how they've done everything that they've asked them to do. It's not their fault that they opted out, and now they've opted back in. So those guys deserve to play a football game. And that was his words as the head coach. And so we've got to be very mindful of that as they come down here. They're a very dangerous team because of that. You can throw out last year's records. You can throw out because this is the only game they have scheduled right now, and they're going to try to do everything to win it.
It would be a dead giveaway if they didn't bring their punter down here, wouldn't it?
No question, right? No question.
You mentioned about how the schedule's changed so much, and you've seen what happened to App State, where they had games and then they had to move their games, which affected so many other teams. What has Georgia Southern been able to do to keep players off that COVID positive test list, and how has that gone this season from the summer to where we are today? With the numbers seem to have gone down, you've had more players active each week that you've had a game. What have you guys been able to do, and how have the numbers looked?
Well, I thought we did a really good job during the summer because we really formed a bubble during the summer. When we got to where school was starting, that was a little bit interesting, as far as bringing in more students down here and the exposure. We were able to navigate through that. I think our guys have done a really good job off the field. I feel very confident how safe we are in our facility and how safe we are at practice and the things that we do. And I feel very safe with how our academic people have done their stuff over on campus. But again, it's about our guys being dedicated to one another and knowing, hey, I may have to give up part of my social life for this. So, that's not a knock on App State at all. I mean, because you can do everything right and 2 or 3 positives can change your whole world because of contact tracing. So, it's one of those things where, we just keep encouraging our guys to do right away from our facilities and just continue to pray that our guys stay safe and stay healthy. But at any moment that can change, and our guys could be doing everything right and that still change.
Coach, you mentioned an identity, searching for an identity. You've played 3 games. One, you go down to the wire with a top 25 team that wins on the last second field goal. The other 2 against winless teams, you guys have to sweat it out at the end of the game and pull it off. Do you feel like this team needs a statement game? Do you feel like you really need to put away a team? Is that where you're going with the identity thing?
So I kind of take that question a couple ways. Of course, I would love to win every game by 50. I would love to do that. That would make life so much better. It would be so much more less stressful. But the ultimate goal is to win the football game. I think the big piece that I'm really trying to get across when I talk about discipline is, especially in that last game, we were in a position to go up 42-17 and really put the game away, and we lined up in an illegal formation. And, that's the first illegal formation we've had in 3 years. And, I just sit there and I go, okay, a lot of self-inflicted wounds have happened in these first 3 games that if we eliminate this, each outcome, we could be 3-0. We could maybe have won by more points and all that type of stuff. But ultimately, it's getting one more point than the other team. I do want to play better. I want to play more discipline. I want to play more finish mentality when we do get in a position to put a team away. And I want to see that happen. So we're talking constantly. We're working on that constantly. And, I just want to see a more disciplined football team where we don't have self-inflicted wounds this Saturday.
Coach, have you seen in yourself and in your players just more of an appreciation for actual games and the preparation of games? I know that can be sometimes tedious for these guys. Just the fact that you're playing, you mentioned it. Have you seen that in yourself and in your players?
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest about me, man. My emotions, I always talk about energy over emotion. But lots of times in these different situations, man, I find my emotions sometimes taking over because I'm just sitting there going, man, we're so blessed to be able to do this, and we need to be very grateful. But then when you get your rival team postponed, and you're looking forward to that one, you're looking forward to having them in Paulson, you get that postponed, and and then you're looking, okay, well, all right, let's turn this into a positive here. Let's make this a bye week. Let's allow our guys to get a couple days off at the end of the week, and try to regroup and reset. But then all of a sudden you get another game added, so it can get difficult. But what I'll say about our guys, Friday, because the way it was going to go when it was a bye week is we were going to finish up practice on Thursday, and we were going to let them all Friday and Saturday, and then come back on Sunday night. But then when we got the game added, we needed the game plan on Thursday, so we ended up not practicing on Thursday. We just met, and then on Friday we went out there, and after a whole week of thinking, well, we're going to practice on Saturday because we're going to get ready for App State, to going, okay, now we're going to get a couple days off before we get back in here, to going, okay, now we're going to practice on Friday. I mean, there's just a lot of different emotions that run with that. But long story short with this is our guys have gone out there with a lot of energy, and they've really worked hard. They've really competed. And I think that's very important. We got a lot of experienced guys, but we also have a lot of young guys that's getting a lot of meaningful reps in games. And for our older guys to go out there and lead like that, and our young guys really come out there to step up and practice hard, I think it's really, really good for our program.
Coach, you're a Lakers fan.
I
I'll
am.
hold that against you. And the past couple
What fan
years,
are you?
the Lakers have had a few down years, and then last night won the championship. And George Southern was kind of in a similar spot. They had a couple down years, and then back on the way up. What lessons can you take from what LeBron James and Anthony Davis have done the past couple years to put themselves back on top?
Well, I think it's buying into the process. Obviously with LeBron going to the Lakers a year ago and getting hurt, not making the playoffs, you don't just panic, and you just don't say all of a sudden, well, LeBron James is washed up. LeBron James is not going to be able to do it for the Lakers. You keep believing in your plan. You keep believing in how you do things. And I think that's what's important for us, is just believing in our process and understanding that maybe we haven't played our best games, and we haven't played clean yet. And once we get that clicking, I think that we can be the team that we really feel like we should be. So I think that's the biggest thing I take away from it, man, is you just, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be things that happen. And if you'll just stick with the process, good things will come from it. By the way, who's your team in basketball?
I'm a Hawks guy, unfortunately. So it's it's been a few. I mean, I'm about to do 23, and they've never done anything. So it's
I enjoyed watching Dominique Wilkins back in the day.
For my time. So
Oh, okay. Old jokes. I got you. What else y'all got? All right. Well, I appreciate y'all being on today, and if we can, man, just I don't know where we are on ticket sales and all that type of stuff, but I'd love to pack out Paulson as best we can with the capacity limits, and really get Eagle Nation in here and get them loud, and let's have a great time with some Georgia Southern football. Thank y'all, and GATA.